Alright, I want to give you guys a quick update real quick, and I do apologize again. And I do apologize again that this was not shown when I was looking for it on YouTube. I guess I really should have just gone on Wikipedia, because I thought this whole Fighter Fest thing was not a pay-per-view, but it was listed as one. So I'm going to add 2 extra things real quick. I'm going to be putting this at the start of the review. I'm going to be putting this before the review starts. So, just to show I did not miss anything. So, apparently the Don Callis family did have another match before. They had a 6-man tag. So, they wrestled twice. They ended up wrestling twice before they took on the Paragon and Daniel Garcia. I don't know why, but they did. They had another match. They actually defeated Bandito and the Outrunners. So there's that. And Nick Wayne, alongside Christian and Mother Wayne, he retained his Ring of Honor World Television title in a Fatal 4-Way. And yeah, I don't really care for Nick Wayne or anyone involved. Anyone involved with Christian. So yeah, can't say I really care for Christian or even Nick Wayne. So there's that. So I do apologize that I ended up missing out on this, but hey, I guess that's what happens when you don't pay attention to everything. And also 4 hours, I guess you can't remember everything. But I think I should keep that in mind next time when I'm trying to do a review. So I do apologize that I did forget this stuff. I didn't really care for either one of those, but hey, you forget stuff all the time. Okay, and welcome back to another All Elite review. Today I'm going to be doing a quick review of All Elite's 4-hour program of Fighter Fest. Yeah, this was 4 hours, and yeah, really exciting stuff. But at the same time, I wasn't going to be able to remember everything. But I've also learned that the reason why it was 4 hours is because Dynamite and Collision were pretty much together. So it's like they did everything of Dynamite, and then they eventually did stuff on Collision. So I had to divide up everything that I saw that happened on Collision. Now the only way I would know if something was taking place on Dynamite or Collision is by seeing the commentary desk. So that's basically how I chalked it up to knowing where each thing is from. Now again, I could also end up being completely wrong, especially with the last thing, because again, didn't see the Collision or Dynamite ramp when that segment happened, which I'll get to. So let's talk about AEW Dynamite, as we'll be kicking things off here. Will Ospreay had a promo, and he was talking about Jon Moxley being the worst thing that has ever happened to AEW, and he told him to piss off and all that stuff. So he's continuing to be the third wheel in all of this. He's still trying to be the third wheel in this whole Moxley, Hangman, and Swerve situation. He's still trying to convince the two of them to put their issues aside and work together. So then, after all this promo stuff was going on, we then had Leo Rush, yes, that guy, confront Ospreay, and he pretty much proceeded to call Ospreay the worst thing about AEW, which was kind of hilarious. I'm going to be honest here. I think Will Ospreay is a great wrestler. I'm not going to deny he's a good wrestler, and I'm also not going to deny his theme song is really, really good. But I know a lot of people don't seem to really like him all that much because he's got a bit of an attitude problem. But overall, his promos are pretty damn good as well. Hurt Syndicate and MJF also had a promo, and MJF was pretty much going on about, great tag teams. Are there any great tag teams that could, take down the Hurt Syndicate and all that, which I don't really know AEW's tag team division all that much to really guess who could really dethrone them. My only real guess is FTR. That is going to be my real only guess, FTR, because to me it just makes a lot of sense, because they're really the only real tag team I can think of off the top of my head. Jon Moxley, he had a match with Mark Briscoe on the show tonight. And I have to admit, this matchup was actually pretty good. But again, Mark Briscoe, he had a really fun one with Ricochet. So these two guys had some pretty grueling one. And also, shockingly enough, Jon Moxley wasn't the one that was bleeding in this match. It was actually Mark Briscoe. I know, surprising, I know. But it's not the best match I've ever seen, but hey, it's nice to see Jon Moxley actually, competing and doing something. So Moxley ultimately would win this. Not really much of a surprise, to say the least. Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa take on Sky Blue and Julia Hart in a tag team match. Mercedes Moné was at ringside. She was like just sitting outside. She had like her own champagne and drinks and all that stuff out there at ringside. She was really good. Mercedes is as entertaining as always. Mina and Toni Storm would ultimately win this tag team matchup, and Toni Storm seems to have debuted a new finishing move, the crossface chicken wing. She grabbed Sky Blue in a chicken wing and made her tap out. So, yeah, Sky Blue's made her return, and she's already losing 2 matches. I guess Penelope Ford had the same thing happen to her, and now she's starting to do something, so I guess it really shouldn't be that big of a deal in the end. It shouldn't really be that big of a deal in the end. Max Caster got squashed by Powerhouse Hobbs in about 5 minutes. I don't know what it is about this Max Caster guy. I'm just not the biggest fan of this dude. So I don't know what it is about this guy. I just don't really like him all that much, and I think he's someone that they should really be keeping off TV. Not exactly the best thing in the world, and this Max Caster just does nothing for me. I know I should have mentioned this when I mentioned the Hurt Syndicate, but again, this is just me going all over the place, and I do apologize for those who probably want everything in order. But Commander and Jet Speed would win a trios match. They would win a trios match, and they seem to be starting a feud with the Hurt Syndicate, because MJF, in his promo, was talking about a Mexican wrestler by the name of Mystico, which I don't know if he is the original Sin Cara, because I think he was the original Sin Cara, because I've seen pictures of this guy, and he was wearing Sin Cara's mask. I don't know if this guy was the original Sin Cara, but we all know Sin Cara, who was in WWE. But I don't know if he was the original Sin Cara or not, but he has a similar mask to what Sin Cara used to wear. So I don't know if this is who MJF is referring to, but yeah, that set up that whole 3-way there. And Kenny Omega would win a Fatal 4-Way, retaining his international championship. Claudio, aka Cesaro, was also a part of that, and Kenny Omega would retain. This Fatal 4-Way was actually really, really good. And then Kishke Okada would confront him afterwards. And they seem to be making a match between the two of them at All In, where both of their championships are on the line. And honestly, here's the thing. I know these two have a lot of history from their time in Japan and all that stuff. And I'll tell you this. Even though I've never seen these two guys really wrestle each other, or even really watched any New Japan stuff, I definitely have a strong feeling that these two guys are going to have one of the best matches on the card. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. So that was everything that happened on Dynamite. So I'll quickly run over everything that happened on Collision. And by the way, again, I want to just remind you all, this was all one show. Dynamite and Collision was all one show under the name AEW Fighter Fest. So I'm just making it very, very clear, this is all done in one show. This was a 4-hour show. This was all done in one show. Will Ospreay would take on Lio Rush after the confrontation the two of them had. Will Ospreay won the match with a Styles clash, which was kind of surprising. But I have been hearing stories that Will Ospreay wants to wrestle AJ Styles, and I'm not saying the rumors are true, but there has been rumors about AJ Styles potentially leaving WWE. Again, I don't really believe that to be true, but you know, there has been rumors of AJ Styles' contract running out. So I don't really know if this is them. I don't know if this is WWE letting him go. WWE would be foolish. I will tell you this, WWE will be absolutely foolish to let AJ Styles' contract run out and not try to renew it. They would be foolish if they do that. They would be absolutely foolish if they do that. Hangman Page and Jon Moxley come face to face. This only happens after Hangman comes out to assist Will Ospreay after Will Ospreay gets attacked by Lio Rush's running buddy at ringside. So then Hangman cuts a promo talking about how he must defeat Moxley. Moxley and his crew then confront him, and Will Ospreay comes back out with 2 steel chairs, forcing the Death Riders to basically back off for the time being. Debutante now. This is what we Australians say when someone's making their debut. I'm so sorry if I pronounced this girl's name wrong. The color. I'm very, very sorry if I pronounced this girl's name wrong. She goes by the nickname of the Toxic Spider. She takes on Lady Frost. She takes on Lady Frost in her debut. And I have to say, other than her doing a spear, which you guys know me, I'm kind of sick and tired of seeing every freaking wrestler in the world performing spears. Outside of seeing her performing a godforsaken spear, this girl was pretty alright. And I actually like her submission finishing move. She's got like this submission finishing move. Looks really, really cool as well. So she defeats a girl named Lady Frost. And Queen Abinata comes in to pretty much make the save. I'm not gonna lie. I swear to God, when I saw her come in, I really thought that was Alicia Fox. Because she looked so much like Alicia Fox. With her face and also her hair. She looked so much like Alicia Fox, I almost swore that I thought Alicia Fox was in AEW. But then I remembered she's in TNA. But man, she looked so much like Alicia Fox just when I saw her. So, and I thought this girl was feuding with Jamie Hayter. I guess they're building up to it, which I guess is fair enough. Because you definitely need to build this girl up, especially if you're going to have her fight Jamie Hayter. FTR, they would win a match. FTR would win a match against 2 Mexican wrestlers. So not really a whole lot I can say about that. Paragon would team up with Daniel Garcia to take on the Don Callis family. Paragon are Undisputed Era. It's just their new name. Which again, they were called the Undisputed Kingdom, but then they got their name changed again. So it's Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong. So they would defeat the Don Callis family. They would end up winning against the Don Callis family. And finally, now again, I want to make it, and finally, the last thing I'm going to talk about here. I don't know if this took place on Collision or if this took place on Dynamite, but Penelope Ford, however you bloody say her name, and Megan Bayne were backstage, and they attacked Anna Jay. And after nearly 2 years, after nearly 2 years, Ty Mello makes her return. Finally, about bloody time, Ty Mello made her comeback. It's been a while since we've seen Ty Mello. She comes back, she helps Anna Jay fight off Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford. About bloody time Ty Mello came back. I'll be honest, I've always been a fan of Ty Mello. She had potential when she was in WWE. It's just unfortunate that they only signed her because they thought she was good looking. Yes, that was the reason why they signed her. Ty Mello said that herself in an interview, that they only found, they just thought she was super attractive, which was why they signed her. Kind of a stupid reason to sign someone, but hey, that's WWE. But yeah, nice to see Ty Mello back finally. Nice to see her back. And hopefully they plan on those AEW women's tag team titles soon. I know there's been rumors of AEW starting their own women's tag team division, and considering how they've been forming so many teams like Sky Blue and Julia, Anna and Ty, Megan and Penelope, and I guess Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa. I mean, I know Toni Storm's the women's champion. I know she's the world champion, but, you know, they could have her and Mina Shirakawa be a tag team once her title reign, if she drops the title to Mercedes. But yeah, they've definitely been creating a lot of tag teams over the last several months. So hopefully they start preparing their tag team titles very, very soon, which, to be honest, I think is going to be pretty damn cool. And I hope AEW actually do the women's tag team titles justice a lot, and I hope they do them a whole lot better than what WWE is actively doing with them. So that's all I've got for you guys on this AEW Fyter Fest review of Collision and Dynamite. And also, I really do apologize if you hear any background noise in this video. That is my brother screaming and carrying on, and I do apologize for that if you guys do hear any outside screaming in the background. So, thank you all for watching, and see you all next time.